Hi everyone. So I just want to talk about a recent movie I just seen. I saw Straight Outta Compton. You guys know it's based on NAA. And the first thing I want to say is when I got to the movie theater, they asked me for my ID and I was like, for what? She said to see the movie. And so the first thing that came to my mind, I'm like, well, what is the age to see a rated R movie? And she didn't ask me. Because I'm like, damn, is it 21? Maybe if it's 21, I could see her asking me for my ID. But I'm like, this is kind of crazy. And so I didn't have my ID. I had my law school ID. So I said, here goes my law school ID. And then I asked again, I said, what is the age to see a rated R movie? She said 17. I said, and you're asking me for my ID? And she was like, oh, they're making us ask. I'm like, I come to this movie theater all the time and I've seen thousands of rated R movies and no one asked me for my ID. And I know damn well I don't look 17 years old. She said, oh, and I said, hold on. Oh, so because it's Straight Outta Compton, they're making you ask everyone for their identification. I'm like, well, I find that crazy. She said, we have to. I said, see, that's a cycle that we need broken because there's a million other rated R movies and we don't need no IDs. For example, the top rated R movies of the year, one I think was 50 Shades of Grey. Went to go see that. Didn't need an ID. Get Hard, Ted 2, The Wedding Ringer, Focus, Southpaw. It's like a million rated R movies, but yet you need my ID to go see Straight Outta Compton because supposedly it's supposed to entice violence. I find that very crazy, being that I went to go see, I think, Mission Impossible last week, and as far as I remember, the whole movie was about violence, and no one asked me for my ID. So I think that's crazy. And the fact that I heard that in most of these movie theaters, they beefed up security and police to be outside, I find that rather crazy as well. So anyways, I'm just trying to find the difference I'm trying to figure out what the difference between Straight Outta Compton and every other R-rated movie I've seen about violence. So, the movie was a very good movie. It was about, freedom of expression. And, it was a lot of, I don't know, some people are going to title gangster words, but pretty much it just was a group of fellas that was expressing themselves about their realities and the situations they have gone through and different things like that. And it was a problem, of course, as always, but it was about freedom of speech and the fact that we have to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, how are people going to know about it? For example, in the movie, they portrayed everything that happened with Rodney King, and pretty much Ice-T was saying, fuck the police. That's what they were saying. But the reason they were saying that was based on everything they have been through and how they were illegally stopped, searched, arrested, and whatever the case may be. So that brings me to, they were supposed to keep their mouth closed, but the police were supposedly allowed to do everything they were doing. No, we have to talk about it. The problem was Ice-T and them was doing their thing in the 1980s. Right now we are in 2015, and I'm looking at the movie and I'm like, why does this look like what's happening now? Especially with all the police brutality. Of course the police is going to want to be out front of the movie theater. That makes absolute sense because the same thing is happening. The cycle keeps going and going and going and going. And who's going to break it? I know the lady at the movie theater that is asking me for my ID because I look 17 years old. Really? She's not going to break the cycle. So who's going to break the cycle? And then it bothers me because it makes me want to know, well, what can I do? What more can I do? Am I not doing enough? How is the cycle going to stop? I'm like, okay, I'm in law school. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but what else can I do? Because the problem is still here. The problem is continuing. The only difference between now and then, that was the 1980s and this is now. The same thing. So I think it's just a mindset. And, it's what we're going to allow to happen and what we're not going to allow to happen. And it's how we're going to deal with these situations. Because I can tell you now, violence is not the answer. That never got nobody nowhere but killed. So it's just like, how do we break the cycle? Like, what to do? But it just bothers me. And I just wanted to express my opinions because I think it's something to think about. And I think it's a conversation we all need to engage in. Granted, the movie was great. The movie was excellent. It was excellent actors and I amend them. But my thing is, I want to talk more about the deeper message. And I think that's what's going on with the police these days. And, I just want to communicate about it. Tell me what you think.